No, Cliff Booth isn't exactly Steve McQueen. Now, I love a good throwback to the golden era of Hollywood as much as anyone, and the character of Cliff Booth from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, played by Brad Pitt, has certainly got people talking. Here's the deal. Cliff Booth is a work of fiction. He's the stuntman buddy and the right-hand man of actor Rick Dalton, played by Leonardo DiCaprio. This Tarantino film loves to play around with historical fiction, blending real-life figures with completely fictional ones. That said, Booth does seem to have been inspired by a number of real-life characters and events surrounding Hollywood in the 60s. While the charm and swagger may give off some serious Steve McQueen vibes, Pitt's character isn't based directly on McQueen. Steve McQueen was a close friend of Sharon Tate and Jay Sebring, who sadly were victims of the Manson family murders, a pivotal backdrop for much of the film's tension. But McQueen had his own complicated history. He was the King of Cool, a title earned by his anti-hero personas on screen, and his somewhat rebellious lifestyle off-screen. Now, as for Brad Pitt's portrayal of Cliff Booth, you could say it's a charming mashup, a stuntman for hire embodying the rough-and-tumble, cool under-pressure attitudes of several figures of that era. Does he have some McQueen-like qualities? Sure, but Pitt brings his own brand of charm to it, making Cliff a character all his own. It's not uncommon for films to sprinkle a little bit of this star and a little bit of that one when creating memorable characters for the silver screen. Writers and directors love to draw from a pool of fascination that surrounds people like McQueen, but it's more about capturing the essence rather than making a carbon copy. So while Cliff Booth might remind you of Steve McQueen in his demeanor, or his place in the Hollywood stunt world, they're not one and the same. That's part of the magic of movies, right? Fiction inspired by a collage of truths, urban legends, and wishful thinking. The lines between reality and fiction blur, and the result is an iconic character that feels both familiar and fresh. As for my corner of the world in Portland, Oregon, we love dissecting our pop culture just as much as anyone else. Whether it's debating Cliff Booth's real-life counterparts or finding hidden gems in local indie movies, the conversations never stop. And hey, if Brad Pitt or Quentin Tarantino themselves shed some light on the topic, that would be a Hollywood twist worthy of the film's lore, wouldn't it? But for now, Booth is an iconic character stemming from a stew of classic Hollywood machismo and Tarantino's cinematic brilliance.